and today we have another feedback video, this time from Mifta, who is from Indonesia, I believe. So before we begin, if you would like your own free IELTS mock speaking test with myself, you can join my WhatsApp group. The link is in the description below, but I strongly advise you to join as soon as possible because I will put a cap on the group as there's starting to get a lot of people there now and it's becoming hard to manage. So if you would like your free test, join quickly. And now let's get started. Hi, my name is Brick. Could you tell me your full name, please?
Yeah, my name is Miftah Labib Adiansyah.
Thank you. And what should I call you today?
You can call me Miftah.
Right. Very good start. Very relaxed, very confident, quite fluent. Again, I always say this part of the test is not assessed. However, just from the first reaction, good, very good. Thank you, Mikta. Now, in this first part of the test, I will ask you questions about yourself. So let's talk about hobbies. What do you like to do in your free time?
Well, a couple of years ago, I would say playing basketball is my hobby that I like to do in my leisure time. But unfortunately, I got injured in 2021. Or I gotta explain my hobby. So playing basketball, I feel like it is just therapeutic for me. It can take care of my mental and physical health at the same time. I can stay in my physical fitness, and if I
Really strong response. I like your English. I like your level of fluency. But how can we improve this? Two things. I will try to just organize your answer better. So you started off talking about how something used to be a hobby of yours, but now you got injured. Explain that later. Answer the question first. Okay. Say my hobbies are this, or I like doing this. And then you can uh, share this story or give this explanation. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I know you are very confident. You don't seem nervous. However, it is important to change the pitch of our voice when necessary. It's becoming a little bit flat, not too much, but this is just how we can get a higher mark. Okay, we want to get the highest mark possible, and that's how you could do that. Right, let's continue. Good overall response.
feel like depressed or burnout from my tasks or assignments, I
Burnout. Very good vocab there. Okay, good.
just grab my basketball and go to the nearest basketball court.
Grab my basketball and go to the nearest basketball court. Good use of natural English language. Grab my basketball. That just shows that you quickly get it and casually just go. Well done. Good.
As I mentioned before, because I got injured, so I do still play basketball, but not as frequent or as intense as before. So in my free time currently, I just
And right. Although you, y- although your pronunciation is okay, some of the words are starting to lose meaning. We need to give quality to each word that we pronounce. Okay, each word requires its own pronunciation. We're slowly just dwindling away from that. Okay, just be careful. Do you have any hobbies you've been doing for a long time?
yeah, I just playing basketball. But besides of that, I also like to read some books.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned reading books because although basketball, you could have mentioned that again. You want to stay away from repeating the same things over and over again. Remember, the examiner is not checking if you are telling the truth or not. They are just checking your English speaking skills. That's it. So you want to show off your speaking skills. You want to show off your vocabulary. You don't want to talk about the same thing over and over again because it becomes repetitive. You can lose marks for repeating the same words. In this case, I don't think it applies to you, but just a bit of a warning. But good, you mentioned reading books.
Uh,
Good.
and it is just fascinating to see word from different perspectives.
Good use of language there. Fascinating. Good perspective. Good. A problem that can occur is when you use these type of words. Some people they are likely to use them in the incorrect way. Okay, so they think they can show off with their English skills by using these higher order vocabulary words. Okay, but they don't use them properly. In this case, if that you have used them correctly, well done. Good. I'm liking this test. Okay. And how do you usually spend your weekends?
And the weekend on Sunday, I'm currently a member of a community called Majalengka Bukwarti, so I like to join their meeting, their weekly meeting on Sunday. We usually read some books and share the book that we've been read in the past week. Also, in this,
Not that we've been read, that we've read in the past week, okay? Or that we have been reading. Either one of those would have been fine.
On Saturday, I have various activities, a variety of activities like playing basketball or just watching some movies.
Okay. And do you prefer hobbies that you can do alone or with other people?
I prefer to be doing some of my hobbies alone. Like I
Right. Let me tell you how we can improve this answer, Mifta. So again, it just goes back to what I said before, which is that it doesn't matter if you're telling the truth or not. Now, I'm not saying just lie, but you don't need to focus on the answer that much, okay? Especially with your level of English. You can just answer directly. Just talk about any one topic, okay?
I like to read some books. With myself, absolutely, but having a community that have the
Right. We don't want to talk about two things, alone and in a group, because your answer can become a bit gray. It can become a bit hazy. It can become a bit unclear. Okay. Also, the problem with talking about both sides of the argument, that you like to be alone and you like to be with a group, is that if you answer, if you talk about both of these perspectives in detail, your answer can become too long. So, if you talk about both of them in the proper way, you will lose because it's too long. If you don't answer them, again, you will lose because they'll be too unclear. So the best thing to do here is just talk about one thing and talk about that in a bit of detail rather than two things. Okay. So just say, yeah, I like to spend time alone because, and that's it. Okay. Or I like I like to spend time with my friends because we do many things. For example, on the weekends we do da 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 da. That's it. Okay, let's continue.
same hobby as you also can give you some privilege. Like you can share what you have been doing or the hobbies that you have. So I think it is important to strike a balance between the two options.
Well done. Strike a balance. Not many people can use that in the correct sense, in the correct way. You've done that perfectly. Well done. Okay. And have your hobbies changed over the years?
Yes, as I have mentioned before, because I got injured. Due to my injury, n- I can't play basketball as intense as before. So I kind of shift my hobbies.
As intense as before. Yeah, that was fine. But what you're doing is you're clustering the words together, so the whole sentence becomes a few sounds. You need to leave a space between each word. Okay, as intense as before. Okay, not as intense as before. It's a bit too chunked.
From
Let's continue.
basketball into reading books, and sometimes I also listen to music.
Okay, let's talk about food. What kind of food do you usually eat?
Uh, basically everything that my mom cooked. I kind of embarrassed to admit that I still live with my mom, but I So yeah, I just eat the food that my mom cooks. Sometimes I help her to make. But my favorite one would be rendang.
Okay. Okay. That was all okay. It could be like little bit better. It could be slightly better. It was fine as it is, but just on the side note, nothing to feel embarrassed about. Living with your parents, as you said. Yeah. Let's continue. Is there a type of food that you don't like?
Uh, yeah, soups. I don't like to eat soups. I don't know. Maybe I have a bad experience with soups, but currently I just don't like the taste
Very strong response. Uh, I really like this. Good.
generally.
Okay. And are there any traditional dishes from your country that you like?
And a traditional dish. Yeah, my favorite one would be rendang. And as a matter of fact, I believe I've read a couple of years ago, rendang is nominated as one of the most delicious food in the entire world. And as an Indonesian, I I'm proud of that.
Okay. And a really good ending to your answer there. I'm proud of that. Good. Most people struggle with ending their answers and they end up either finishing halfway through or they end up not knowing how to stop and they just keep talking, 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 and they lose coherence. You ended that answer perfectly. Well done. We're off to a very strong start. Do you prefer eating at home or eating out?
Hmm. Eating at home is my or maybe I prefer to eat at home because it can give you an advantage of maybe you can uh, buy some, or not buy, but you can prepare food by yourself. You can manage the ingredients, so it is more convenient. But also, if some of my friends invite me to eat out, uh, I'm not really a I'm not gonna uh reject their invitation.
Okay, thank you. Right. Right, just a quick point. Now, I think so far, Mifta, you're on around about the band seven, band eight range. It's too early to give a verdict just yet. Okay, part two and part three, we need to look at that. But so far, you're in that range, band seven, eight. Okay, now at this stage, even the smallest things they matter. For example, the small hesitations that we might make. The mispronunciation of certain sounds, they they matter at this point a lot more. Okay, so just be mindful of that. We will talk about that towards the end on how you can improve. Yeah, but overall, so far, a very strong response to the questions in part one. Let's continue. We've now come to the end of part one of the speaking test. We will now move over to part two. So, in part two of the speaking test, I will give you a topic and you will speak about that topic for 1 to 2 minutes. I will give you 60 seconds to make notes before you speak. So I will share the card with you. Right, let's see what this is. Okay. Describe a piece of technology you use frequently. You should say what it is, how you use it, why you use it, and explain how it has improved your life. Now, I picked these topics completely random, but I think the last three people have had the same topic. Let's see. Let's see how this pans out now. Okay, so your 60 seconds starts now. Okay, so your 60 seconds are now over, and you can put your pen down and you can start to speak whenever you are ready.
Okay, so you asked me to talk about the technology that I usually use. I want to talk about mobile phone, obviously, as a mainstream person.
I would just start with that sentence. I want to talk about my mobile phone. Okay, just start with that. It's more clear, it's more straight to the point, it's more precise.
I use mobile phone a lot. It helps me through my academic and work.
I use my mobile phone. Okay. Or you can say I use mobile phones a lot. But here, I don't think we're being general. I think we're being specific. So I use my mobile phone.
So I'm currently a uh, teacher, and I also preparing my uh, study for my master program in abroad. So
Abroad. That's the correct way to pronounce it.
in academic, it helps me a lot. In research, I have to do a lot of research for my study, and
I like your intonation there. I have to do a lot of research for my study. By the way, you said study. We would say studies. But that's fine. Yep. Let's continue.
it's just easier for me because there are a lot of apps and platforms that you can use for research, such as AIs like ChatGPT or Perplexity or consensus analysis and etc. And in teaching, I got to use my mobile phone for looking for some material. Again, I have to use some platforms like absolutely Google and some tutorial or do maybe
Tutorials. Okay. Tutorial is specific and it refers to one. But because you said some, that tells us that it's more than one. So we don't say some tutorial, we say some tutorials. Okay. Yeah.
uh, lab activities. I got to supervise my students, so I get to know what is the procedure of some lab activity. But it changed my view of how to do research and work basically. And I cannot imagine how they do it in old style, like back then without any technology like laptop or mobile phone or maybe some platform like uh, Google Scholar, because you have to do it like offline. You have to go to library and look for some journals, some papers that
You have to go to the library or you have to go to a library. We don't say you have to go to library.
can help you to do your research. Or maybe as a teacher, you have to ask maybe some professional to show you how to
Thank you. Thank you. Right. So, right. The reason why I stopped Miftah there is because his 2 minutes were over. Okay. So if the examiner does stop you in your test, most likely that will be the reason why. It's because your 2 minutes have finished. So your speaking time has finished and the examiner will have to stop you. It doesn't go against you. You don't lose marks. If you haven't finished what you were saying, do not worry. The examiner only marks the words that come out of your mouth. That's it. We talked about technology. So let's talk about technology in a bit more detail. Do you think technology has made life easier or more complicated?
absolutely easier. Maybe it is because I'm
That's a strong use of intonation there. That's what I was looking for throughout this video. Yeah, when he said absolutely, and then he carried on. Good.
millionaire or Gen Z. And I use a lot of technology in my daily life, such as mobile phone and laptops. And depends on how you depict technology. We can say maybe a desk or a book is also technology item. But absolutely 100% it can make your life easier.
Okay. And do you think children should use technology in schools?
Yep, but to a certain extent, like technology can help us, or maybe in this term, kids to learn. Like they can use iPad, but the application
Again, we would say they can use an iPad, okay? Or they can use iPads, okay? We don't say they can use iPad because, again, it's the same thing. Plural, they is referring to more than one person, so it's plural. That means the next thing has to be plural as well.
that they use should be limited to maybe some platform that teachers use to teach their student.
Okay. And what are the advantages of children using technology in schools?
Maybe uh, I'm not sorry. Can you come again?
Yep. Right. So, Mikta asked me to repeat this question. Is that a problem? Will he lose marks for that? Does that go against him? The answer is no. Okay. It's perfectly fine to do exactly what Mikta did and just say, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Or I'm sorry, come again. Like Mikta said, it's completely fine. Okay. Let's continue. What are the advantages of children using technology in schools?
They can use it for learning. Maybe like uh, drawing uh, in iPad on iPad. Maybe gonna be easier for them because they don't have to bring another items in their bags like uh, pens or maybe crayon, something like that.
Okay. And do you think there are something like that? And usually people say this, something like that, when they run out of things to say. Um, yeah, and they run out of things to say because of their vocabulary. That's the most common reason why people say something like that. So we want to try to avoid saying something like that. Any disadvantages of children using technology?
Yeah, I've heard that there is a study about how our technology, especially mobile phone, can or social media, can affect children. Uh, like it decrease their attention span, and they are not easily
It decreases, not it decrease their attention span, it decreases.
curious as before.
Okay. And how has technology impacted traditional jobs?
Uh, many I've heard that many people lose their job because of technology, especially in this artificial intelligence era where you can just write anything or you can create or generate some videos or images with AI. So yeah, I think we have to adapt to this technology.
Okay. And do you think people rely too much on technology?
Uh, I don't think there is any parameter for this, but generally, I think, yeah.
I don't think there's a parameter for this. Good use of vocabulary here. I like that term. I'm going to talk a bit more about this at the end of this video, though, whether I think it's a good thing or a bad thing. So far, you've pronounced it well, you used it correctly. But would I advise you to go down this path? I'll explain at the end.
Nowadays, people rely too much on the technology. Like in my region, people don't like to walk as much as before. Even the distance is close, they usually use their bike, and that is bad for the environment.
Okay. And why do you think people rely too much on technology?
Because there's just well, technology is mainly used or the main aim of technology is to make it easier for us to live our life. But if we rely too much on technology, like nowadays, like they don't like to socialize, they just use social media and don't want to meet people in the real world. And also, like as I mentioned before, people just don't like walks as much as before. That's why I think people rely too much on technology.
Okay, thank you. We've now come to the end of this speaking test, so I will now stop the recording. Right, a really strong test. Yeah, a very strong test. Let's talk about what Mikdad's overall mark would be. So we will use this English IELTS speaking test band descriptor or the IELTS rubric to assess Mifta's performance. You can download this, and the link is in the description to this video. So we will start with the band 7 and we'll see if he hits both of those bullet points. If he does, we can look at the band 8. Okay. So band 7 speaks at length without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. You did speak at length without noticeable effort. However, there was a little bit of a lack of coherence. Okay. And now this is unfortunate because this isn't because of your language ability. I think with some questions, you just thought about them too deeply. And I remember like at one point, you were saying, yeah, even a desk could be classed as technology. Maybe you're right, but the examiner doesn't care if you're right or wrong. Okay. They're just assessing your English. So when you're talking about when you're going off topic, these things make you lose coherence. Okay, so you did speak at length without noticeable effort. However, there was just a bit of a loss of coherence. Okay, so yeah, we've got that for band 7. Let's look at the second bullet point. May demonstrate language-related hesitation at times, or some repetition or self-correction. Now, there was a bit of repetition. I don't think that was because of you not understanding the question or anything. I just think that a lot of the questions apply to the basketball. Okay, so that's fine. Yep, we've got that. Third bullet point uses a range of connectives and discuss markers with some flexibility. Yes, okay. You definitely got that. Okay, so let's now look at a band 8 to see if you got that. If you got a band 8, well, speaks fluently with only occasional repetition or self-correction. Hesitation is usually content related and only rarely to search for language. Okay, that's the problem there that we were suffering from. Okay, I think we were searching for language a bit too much, and that stopped us from getting that bullet point. So we didn't get that. Let's see if we got the second bullet point. Develops topics coherently and appropriately. That's the part that, again, we were missing. We didn't do appropriately. Okay, so unfortunately, we didn't get those 2 bullet points. However, I think you can easily get those in the future with just a little bit of practice. Just message me on WhatsApp and we can see if we can arrange another speaking test for yourself, Mifta. And I want you to focus on those 2 points. Right, so we've got a band 7 for fluency and coherence. A lexical resource, we're going to start with a band 8. Let's just see if you got those bullet points. Uses a wide vocabulary resource readily and flexibly to convey precise meaning. Yes, that's very hard to do, but you did that. Well done. So we've got that. Second bullet point, uses less common and idiomatic vocabulary skillfully with occasional inaccuracies. So not only do you have to use idiomatic language or less common vocabulary, you have to use it skillfully. Did you do that? Yes, you did. You did that very well, actually. Well done. Okay, the final point uses paraphrase effectively as required. Yes, you did. Well done. You're doing absolutely amazing. So we got a band 8 for lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy. Again, let's start with the band 8. Uses a wide range of structures flexibly. Yes, you did do that. Okay. Second bullet point, produces a majority of error-free sentences with only very occasional inappropriacies or basic systematic errors. Yeah. Okay. Now, there's no point looking at a band 9. I already know the bullet points of what they are just because I've marked so many tests. So I don't think we hit a band 9 for that. But just the fact that we're even discussing this topic, we're even thinking of a band 9, that just shows how amazing your grammatical range and accuracy is. So we've got a band 8 for grammatical range and accuracy. Let's look at pronunciation. Let's start with a band 7. So it shows all the positive features of band 6 and some, but not all of the positive features of a band 8. So you can read the band 6 descriptors in your own time. You've definitely got those. Let's look at the band 8. So we need some of the positive features. Let's see if we can get those. Uses a wide range of pronunciation features. almost a wide range. Okay, you used a bit, almost a wide range. It was a little bit mechanical, not too much. But like I said earlier, once we're aiming for these higher bands, we have to look at these small things that we may not have needed to look at for a lower band. Okay, so we didn't quite get that. Second one, sustains flexible use of features with only occasional lapses. I wish I could give you this, but I don't think we got that. It's easy to understand throughout. L1 accent has minimal effect on intelligibility. I don't think we got that. Okay, there were times where it was a little bit difficult for me to understand, and that's because you're chunking words together that do not need to be chunked. So we got a band 7 for pronunciation, bringing our overall score to a band 7.5. So what can we do to improve? Two things here. Very easy things to improve with your ability, Miktab. First one is pronunciation. Just speak clearly, and the way to do that is just slow down your speech so the words are not chunked together. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, and this is especially for part 1 and part 2 maybe, no, for part 1 definitely. So when you're answering the questions, don't try to get a bit too philosophical in your mind. That's how it was coming across. Just answer with one opinion and add more examples or reasons of that one opinion. Don't try to give 2 or 3 different sides of the argument. Okay, that's it. Yeah, so really good answer. Yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking to you on WhatsApp. If you have any questions, just let me know. And again, for the audience watching, let me know what you think of this test. Leave your comments below. What do you think Miftat did well? I would love to hear your opinion. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.